So if you're buying a business using the seller's P&L as face value, then you're going into this blind. This is where a shadow P&L comes in. So in short, it's a P&L that you rebuild yourself. This P&L will show you what the business really earns, not what the seller says it earns, or what the seller reports that it earns. You can think of this as a buyer's truth version of EBITDA. So you take the seller's numbers, you recast them, make all the necessary adjustments, and then you get the truth version of EBITDA. Now, the reason why this is essential when buying a business is because, firstly, it reveals the true cash flow of the business, and a deal that might look a little bit tight on paper actually could be a cash machine once you've recast, or it could just be the complete opposite, and it could be something that you want to run 100 miles away from, okay? And it also protects you from playing any of the sellers' games. So, some sellers, well, I say some, a lot of sellers when it comes to small businesses hide profit to minimize tax. Others will label recurring costs as, one-offs. But a shadow P&L basically lets you separate reality from storytelling. And you can ask all the questions that you need to ask once you've recast the P&L. You can also draft one up very quickly as well. It's very, very simple. Just start with the last 12 months, get a monthly P&L and a general ledger, then just build an adjustment schedule. So you have to go line by line. Anything that's not, non-operating or non-recurring, then some common adjustments could be, the owner's salary, which you'd have to normalize this. They could be getting underpaid, they could be getting overpaid, but that's something that we would normally need to adjust for. There could be a one-off legal dispute. There could be insurance claims. There could be, a major one-time repair. There may need to be a rent adjustment. But you get the idea. You make the necessary adjustments because you need to normalize EBITDA and then take everything else into consideration. And then we need to reality check the working capital and the CapEx in the business, because shadow EBITDA is pretty useless if the debtors are bloated, or they have vans, machinery that are pretty much coming to end of life and may need replacing next year. So for example, you could have a strong deal which looks like it could service the new acquisition debt comfortably, but you may have some CapEx that you haven't accounted for, which could put yourself under some serious pressure quite quickly. You can agree a working capital peg in the SPA. So you would agree a target, and if the working cap at close is higher, then the purchase price reduces pound for pound. And if it's lower, it gets topped up. Anyway, digressing there a little bit. This is a job for your deal team, okay? But it is good to know. Actually, also quickly on this, always stress test the debt service using the free cash flow, not the EBITDA, because EBITDA doesn't account for working capital and CapEx, okay? So for anyone that doesn't know what free cash flow is, you can Google it or ChatGPT it, but it's EBITDA minus any cash tied up in working cap, minus any cash needed to spend on CapEx, minus taxes, and minus any loan payments if the deal is leveraged, okay, which is any debt service. Anyway, I hope that helps, but the shadow P&L can be really, really effective, especially with small businesses, because there's so many different things that can come up, and there's a lot of adjustments that usually need to be made.